It's Deprogram, the podcast where we try to get you into a band. Today's band I have no clever quip for because I didn't know who they were going into this. We're talking the Lemon Twigs today. And Peter, you put the Lemon Twigs up on the board not that long ago. But walk me through it. The Lemon Twigs, who are they and why did you want to talk about them?
Well, the Lemon Twigs consist of primarily two brothers, and they're relatively young. They're from Long Island. I discovered them about a year or two ago. I was reading some interview with Elton John, and they're asking him, what kind of music do you like, that's coming out these days? He's like, well, there's not really a whole lot that I like these days. I don't feel like there's a lot of really good songwriters out there, but I will say that I do like Father John Misty and the Lemon Twigs. Now, I had heard of Father John Misty before, but I'd never heard of the Lemon Twigs. So I was like, all right, I like Elton. I'll see what he's putting down. And I checked them out, and they're this band that sounds like they're plucked right out of the 70s. Yep. And if I didn't know any better, I'd been like, oh, this is just some band from the 70s that didn't get used on the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack or something. But no, these are two young dudes in their early 20s, nailing that AM radio rock type sound.
Yeah, I'm glad you said you're leading with basically my entire, but we'll get to my thoughts here. But James, your first time back. Why the Lemon Twigs? Yeah. Why the Lemon Twigs for the first time coming back?
I have no idea. I honestly didn't think it was going to happen as quickly as it did. I've spent the last 2 weeks listening to the music, but the way I found out about the Lemon Twigs was they opened for your good buddy Will Toledo when he played Richmond back when he started blowing up. Yeah. And again, like Peter was saying, it's two brothers, and I think when they first dropped their first record, Do Hollywood, the older brother was 17 and the younger brother was 15.
Wow.
But Brian, the younger brother, he was on stage, and I may be misremembering this thing, but I think he was wearing a Roddy Rowdy Piper t-shirt, and he had the full mullet going, and it took me a second to catch on, but he had these insane high kicks. I don't even know how it was possible, but I would sit there and watch him, and he'd start squatting down. I'm like, oh shit, he's about to do one of his high kicks, and literally jumping 3 feet in the air, both legs going full akimbo, and landing on his feet. I'm going, how the fuck is this kid doing that stuff? But yeah, and I wasn't really complete. That blew me away more than the music, honestly. There's to kind of cheat. There's not a lot on my list from Do Hollywood, but then when they put out their second record, and we can talk about it when we get to it. But the themes and the fact that it was kind of like a rock opera about what it was about, I went, okay, I'm checking this one out, and I've liked everything since then. But yeah, they are if you look at them now, the dynamic of the band has changed. I think Brian does a little bit more up front. He's kind of the pouty, glam guy, and Michael, the older brother, he plays the guitar, and he has the really fancy outfits. He has feather epaulets and all this, whatever those words are, and they've all got the hair and all that stuff. But it's just like Peter said, it's where did these kids come from? Did they get beamed down from Mars? It's just, it's insane. It's really just crazy to think that these kids are the age they are, and they seem to have a real grasp of this sound.
So the first thing I thought of was band out of their time. As I'm listening, this band is just before I know anything that you guys just told me. This band is out of their time. I don't know how they're doing this. And then that's before finding out just now that they were 15 and 17 nailing this. And it's funny because this sound isn't technically my wheelhouse. This isn't technically something that really, but they're the proximity to a Queen. There's definitely times, to your point, James, where they get into this rock opera type. Starting on the second record, where I'm like, oh my god, this is what if and this is not to disparage Panic at the Disco, but like, what if Panic at the Disco did it right? Like, what if, I've talked in circles around Panic at the Disco. I enjoyed my time with them. We won't get any further than that, but like this is exactly that. This sounds like it could have come out parallel to that, and it would have been fine. And it's
right.
like, it's bizarre to think now that they were literal children writing this stuff. So again, we don't have a huge discography that we're working with here, Peter. As you're combing through it, what are you looking for to bring in for your 20?
To what James was saying, like, they've grown up since their first album. So I do have a lot from Do Hollywood, but I have a lot more from Go to School and Songs for the General Public. I feel like they knew what they were doing on their first album, but they really locked it in on the second album and from there on. And I'm really looking forward to what they do next, because I feel like they still have like a definitive album that needs to come out of them.
That's a great point. James, what were you looking for as you're putting your first list in 2.5 years together?
Yeah, it's kind of tough for me because, like I said, I'm not like, after Do Hollywood, I came more into them and what they were doing. So there are certain elements, like they've got really great harmonies. They seem to really know like production qualities of the music, of the sound of that time. So that's kind of what I was going for, is like, how well are they using their instruments? How well are they using their vocals? How well does the song sound? Like, there are some songs on those records that I cut because they just sounded like fucking Carney music. And I went, all right, let's move on and find some other ones. So I think I've got a pretty strong 20 of, there's like maybe one circus song on there, but beyond that, it's like they sound exactly like they were plucked from, an album by Todd Rundgren or, anybody from that era.
So I am apparently in lockstep with you guys in almost every way possible, because I gravitated towards the later stuff too. I evened it out because I feel like what I want to do with the list is let people grow into them the way the way I did specifically. But I definitely found myself enjoying the later two records more than I did Do Hollywood, like on that very surface level. There's definitely stuff that you can find on Do Hollywood that's like, okay, cool. And that's basically what I brought. But I feel like I did almost, I'm curious to where we're going to fall in the same place, because I did almost the same thing you did, James. Like, I'm listening to like sounds, like, how does this sound? Because like, that's what I was gravitated towards, was the sound of the songs. So, very curious. With that though, speaking of curious, based on the conversation we've had, and again, this isn't a huge discography, Peter, how many do you think we're going to get through unanimous for the final say?
Since it's not a big discography, I'm going to be a little more generous than I would want to. I'm going to say 5.
Okay. All right. James?
I mean, I kind of would have to agree with Peter. It's like cheating, but I mean, also, I just don't know. Again, I'm shaky. Haven't done it in a long time. You and I we all may go back to fighting and say, nope, not this one. Yeah. But I really don't know. I really feel like 5 might be a solid number, though. Just in the way we've moved, the way we've done it in the past, before this new thing came into play. It kind of felt like we could hit like a certain number, and then at that point we're just like, all right, now we're just throwing darts at each other.
So do you think, I guess, to play the game, do you think less than, because you can't take 5?
Yeah,
Peter's already got it.
I can't pick the same number exactly. Fuck it, I'll say 4.
4.
Yeah.
All right, well then I'll play ultra optimist. I'm going to go 7.
All right.
7.
Yep.
Okay.
So is it like Price of Right?
Well, I mean, somebody's got to nail the number to get the final say. So,
yes. All right.
But I don't know. Like, there's not too many corners that we can hide in. You know, there's enough music that there's going to be like twos. You know, a lot of twos. But I also feel like there's not too much like trash. There's not too much. I feel like there's...
Yeah, I mean, there's only 45 songs to choose from.
Right. So, like, you know, we're going to get, like, probably 2 or 3 that we're like, really? That's unanimous? Okay. So,
yeah.
All right. So we're going to take a quick pause, and when we come back, we're going to start playing the game if I can find where my mouse is. There it is. All right. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. It's Deprogrammed. Kickstart your road to fitness with the Hard Work Works fitness app. For all ability levels. Full gym, no problem. What's included? Over 200 workout plans available for every situation from a full gym to no equipment at all. Nutrition guide to help you stay on track, and all of this is only $10 a month. There's a special offer for Deprogram listeners. Use promo code STUPID and get your first month free. The Hard Work Works fitness app. Decide, commit, succeed, and join the hustle today. And with that, the name of the game is Deprogrammed. The three of us have combed through the Lemon Twigs discography and plucked out 20 songs that we're now going to match together in an attempt to create a top 10 starter kit for you in case you have never given the Lemon Twigs the time of day. Or if you're like me and just have never heard of them. Because if that's true, you like 70s music, you will like this band. There's very few guarantees I levy out on this show. But yes, you will like this band. As I was listening to the music, you know, as I like to do before the show, this song jumped out at me, and now that's why I'm going to start with it. No other reason than it just impressed me, and it's the end of Do Hollywood. It's the last song on Do Hollywood. It's A Great Snake.
I've got it.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Like I said, no real reason other than it just impressed me. I was like, oh, this is very different from the rest of the record. I'm into this. So, okay. All right. Peter?
I'm going to jump to the songs for the general public. The One.
Yeah, I got it.
That's my number 2 song.
Oh, there we go. We got one. All right. Let me... Like a dumb, I got in the wrong playlist because I sometimes am not smart enough to do... Well, let me play it from here, and then I'll jump to the one I need to. Oh, my God. I am a professional. There we go. What's funny is, like, something like this is right in line with stuff like Matt Berry is doing. It's bizarre.
Yeah. I mean, not to cut in, it also helps if you watch the video. I'd never done it before until Spotify, did that little loop thing where they show you little clips of it. But it's the two brothers like driving around in a van with The One, printed on the side of it. And just out in the most glam outfits you've ever seen. Michael, the younger brother, with makeup and lipstick and his frilly hair, and they're just out there, like, poncing it up, essentially, in the city, like doing these just weird glam dances, and it's just so great.
It's fun. That's it. That's a word that hasn't come up. I mean, it's not as fun as something like a Go-Go's and B-52s, but this is fun music.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, there's nothing overtly serious, but it's not comedy either. It's just fun.
Yep.
And it's also the perfect length. It's like, it's not even 2.5 minutes. It's 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yes.
So it's like the perfect pop song. It's just like, it's on, it's over, and then it's done. And it's just... It could have been my number 1 song if not for the one that is my number 1 song.
Well, I mean, if you're going to start with number 1, you're up.
All right, well, my number 1 song, which I really didn't want to start with because we're probably all going to have it, is These Words.
Yes, I got it.
Tell me we all have it. Yeah.
I don't have it.
Wow. Oh, wow. No, that to me is, it's a real tough decision between these words and the one. But, when I first listened to Do Hollywood, not a lot of it grabbed me until you got to that song. And it's everything. It's, it builds up and builds up and builds up. And then right in the middle of the song where they have, that really big moment where they're, multi-tracking the vocals and the harmonies are right there. And then they have, like, it's either a xylophone or marimba. I'm not sure. It has that little solo in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And that could very well be, in my opinion, their best song.
Wow.
Just because I honestly think it was, if not their first single, then their second single. But yeah, that one I could play for somebody and say, this is this band you need to check out. And if they don't believe, or, if they don't believe me, I must be doing something wrong.
All right. So I'm going to go to school, and shoot, this I have listed as my number 2, Never in My Arms, Always in My Heart.
I've got it.
Hey, there we go. There we go. Again, like an immediate step up the second you get to the next record. This is the track one on the second record. It's already like a slight shift in sound.
It's a little David Bowie in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it also sets up the ongoing drama of established characters, Bill. It's Bill and Carol, and the mom or the wife have a child, so they go off and they do this really weird thing, which is the album into motion. It's like the perfect 1970s.
Yep. Yep. All right, Peter.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Do Hollywood. As long as we're together.
That's the first one I don't have. No. James, you're up.
All right. I'll stick with Do Hollywood and go with the one that may or may not be on everyone's list. It's actually my number 10, and I'll explain why in just a moment. But I'm going to go with Rock Dreams.
Yeah, I got Rock Dreams.
All right, so that's 2 of us.
I got it.
Hey, there we go.
Holy shit. That I did not believe. But yeah, Rock Dreams for me, to just become the music snob for a second, is like, exactly. It tells the story. Okay, we've adopted this chimp because we can't have a kid, and the lead vocal is actually I don't know if you guys knew this, the mother of the Lemon Twigs. Oh. And so she's kind of singing, and she also had a music career of her own before she had kids, but the brothers say, this is kind of the mirror image of our mom, because if our mom was really like this, it would be terrible. But she's saying, hey, if it wasn't for this monkey, I'd be world famous. But now here we are taking care of this monkey, chimp, and he's made my life a living hell. Like, why did we ever do this? And on a side note, I think this album came out shortly after I had my first kid, and being the stupid dad, I would come in every morning, every now and then, say, "Good morning, it's breakfast," like the dad does. And my daughter would kind of look at me and say, "Dad," and she was only 2. She's like, "Dad, stop it."
I don't have like a number placed on this one, but I do have it lower down the list. But
yeah, I mean, it's a tough sell.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a tough sell, because I mean, just listen to it. It's the father is, again, he's like, "I know how you like your bananas." And you're like, what are you talking about? Well, but yeah, it's the first one. Well, no, it actually wasn't the first one because Never in My Arms was the first one. But it kind of just struck me as saying, okay, these guys are really doing something incredibly weird. They're talking about two people who adopted a chimpanzee because they couldn't have a baby, and they're going to like kind of place this chimpanzee into society and hope that everything works out.
Yeah.
And this is their second album.
Yes.
Yeah, which, spoiler alert, it doesn't.
Yeah. All right. Well, where are we now? Is that already 3? Yep, that's already 3. Just like that. 2 rounds in. I guess I'm going to go with my number 3 here. Although I feel like it could go anywhere from 3 down to like somewhere like 10, depending on when I listened to it last. But when I was listening earlier, it was at my 3. So I want to prove to you.
That's my number 9 in my second list. So yeah, I do have it, but it wasn't like a strong contender for me.
Oh, yeah. See, so I guess like you're in the same boat I am. There we go. It's hard to argue against, because when you listen to it, you know you're in, like, listen to this. You know you're in for something different. I don't know what I expected whenever I put the playlist together, but it wasn't this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little, I don't want to say it's schmaltzy, but it does kind of feel that way. It's like the rhyme scheme is a very simple ABA. It's like digested, invested, and then, you know, it goes on like that for quite a while, and then it has that big baby, you know, R&B type ending to it, and I don't know. It just, like, as I was cutting, you know, tracks, it got to the point where I'm like, okay, there's a few that are left, and this is a good one, but I don't think it's the best.
It's clearly good
if that
enough,
makes any sense.
But this is one of those ones I was talking about. I can't believe it's unanimous, but it is.
Yeah.
All right, Peter.
I'm gonna go back to go to school. This is my tree.
Nope.
It was actually, I think, an early cut for me.
Damn.
I know.
Come on, that song's good.
I know it made my first pass. This is one of those casualties of something's got to go, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely got like a Rolling Stones vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that, and I've got a few songs on here that I think fit that as well. But I don't know. I think, like I said, I think it was a first cut or a second cut. It's hard to remember when, you know, you've been doing this for 2 weeks, but it did not make my list, unfortunately.
All right, James, you're up.
All right, I'm going to step away from, and we'll actually see how well this works, but I'm going to step away from Do Hollywood, General Public, and Go to School, and just go with the Brothers of Destruction EP, which I didn't listen to before this, and I'm going to play Beautiful, because it feels like a McCartney song from, you know, when the Beatles went and did their thing, like Fool on the Hill or Blackbird. It's just a really nice ballad. It kind of gets away from the loud raucous rock and roll that they were doing, and just shows that there's another side to the guys.
I've got it.
I do not, but it can be saved because Peter does. And I also have news for you. For some reason, Peter, I do have As Long as We're Together. It's for some reason at the bottom of my list, as opposed to with the rest of the Do Hollywood stuff. So I somehow missed that. So that's got a 2 now too. All right. So Beautiful has 2. We're on to me. All right. I'm going to go back to school. How about Queen of My School?
Nope.
No, that one. I mean, I get what they're going for, but it feels kind of like hokey. I mean, he's falling in love with the head cheerleader,
Yeah,
or whatever it happens to be, but I just it doesn't sell for me for some weird reason.
I get it. All right, Peter.
I'm gonna go ahead to songs for the general public. Leather Together.
I got it.
Actually, one of my least favorite songs on that album. I don't know why.
Really?
I really don't. Yeah, I just don't like when I would listen to the album. I feel like that would be the one where I just go, eh. And maybe it's because again, I think that's a Brian song, not a Michael song, and Brian is kind of going for that tough guy attitude right now. You can't really tell on the cover of the album, but if you go and you watch recent shows from them, he's dressed in leather. He's got the black sunglasses. He's pouting. He's prancing, and you're like, okay, I kind of see it, but in the scope of general public, I just went, this one feels kind of weak for some reason.
All right. Leather Together has 2, though, still alive. And it is your turn, James.
All right. I'm going to go with one that may or may not be on everyone's list. Well, that's kind of the play of the game. And I'm going to play The Lesson from Go to School.
I got it.
You got it?
I don't.
All right, so it's got 2.
Yeah, that one, it strikes a chord with me because what they're kind of doing is, if you well, maybe you probably haven't. God Bless Tiny Tim, the album from the 1960s. He takes a lot of songs from the 20s and 30s and makes somebody made contemporary arrangements for them that he sang on, and so that's kind of what The Lesson makes me think of is that record, and that's what they said they were doing. They're like, yeah, there's this record, God Bless Tiny Tim, and he does all these arrangements of old songs. He's like, this is kind of our attempt at that, and it's a really good attempt. I mean, if again, you would have to have heard God Bless Tiny Tim to catch it, but yeah, in that sense, that's why I like it.
All right, it's got 2. I guess for the record, we are at 4. We're at Peter's 4. Oh, I'm sorry, James's 4.
Yeah.
Not to take that away from me. And we're officially out of NTP because we have 6 in the conversation. So there will be no digging out of the trash today. All right. Let me stay. Actually, let me try Brothers of Destruction out. Why didn't you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my number 2 of the second 10.
Hey. Talk about sounds. Just like that, we're up to Peter's number 5. It's a good soundscape. All right, Peter?
I'm going to go back to Do Hollywood. And this is the song where, when I heard it, I was like, oh, I can see why Elton John likes these guys. Frank.
Oh, no, I don't have that one.
No.
You guessed it. Frank's
I went Great Snake instead of this one. All right. James?
All right. I'll go with Somebody Loving You from Songs from the General Public. That one for me, it's the synths, the synthesizers. It's like that. I don't want to say cheap, but those really early synthesizer records like Switched on Bach and that sort of thing. It makes me think of that. They've got a really great bass synth, a really great lead synth, and again, the harmonies in the chorus just lock it in for me.
I thought I had that one, but I don't.
I have.
Okay, so Peter can save you. So it's got 2.
This is much easier than the last one I did, which had 9 albums to choose from.
Yeah, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I still have 9 songs left, so we'll do a couple more rounds here. Let me say on that record. How about Live in Favor of Tomorrow?
Nope.
That is my number 5 in the first round.
Hey, all right.
Yeah. I'm going to nerd out for a second. Did you guys listen to it on headphones?
No, I think I listened to this in the car.
Okay. I didn't notice it until tonight when I was just going through it on Spotify, but that little, the little whisper in your ears section,
mm-hmm.
If you've got your headphones on, in one of the channels, you hear one of the brothers, whisper. It's so dorky that I know that. It's like, hey guys, there's this part where you got to have your headphones on, and that's the production that I'm talking about. It's they're doing these little things that you don't think about with today's music, where it's like, hey, there's this little Easter egg or whatever you want to call it for you. And I mean, I like the song in general, and then I found that out, and I was like,
all right, Peter.
I don't think this is going to be on everyone's list, but I like it because I like the carnival-esque early Mr. Bungle sound. Harumata.
I do not have that one.
Yeah, I think that was definitely an early, like a really early cut.
I don't really have a note on it, so I assume it must not have survived my first pass. All right, James.
All right, I'll go with the circus idea again and choose my very last pick when I made the cuts, and that was "These Days Is Coming Soon" from the first record, Do Hollywood. That's about as circusy as I allowed myself to get.
I got it.
Yeah, I mean it's dun, 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 and then the rhythm just feels like somebody's out there with a one-man band, and then the not really the chorus, but bridge, whatever you want to call it. Dun, 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 dun. You just feel like you're on a fairground somewhere, and somebody's trying to get you to throw the ball at the bottles or whatever. And I just went, I mean, it's a good song, but this is as much as I can take.
I don't have it.
All right, it's got 2 though, so it stays alive. This conversation just gets more and more brutal. Yeah, so we've got 5 through and 9 in the conversation. All right. Now, where am I at now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I think we'll call this our last round and dump out after that. And I keep scrolling by this one, and I'm not scrolling by is No More. How about Never Know?
That was a cut, like a harsh cut.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Oh, my first venture into the trash today. Oh, no, that's not true, because Queen of My School was in the trash, too. So, okay. All right, Peter?
How about No One Holds You Closer Than the One You Haven't Met?
I got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Hey.
Oh. I like the lyrics on this song.
It's banned out of their fucking time. How are they doing this?
Yeah. That's again. I think that's the other one that has the. Oh no, I'm thinking of another one of my picks, but that one kind of feels like and I don't want to call it like a Stevie Wonder song, but you kind of get the feeling, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe even God, I'm sorry, Supertramp.
I'm getting, as I'm listening to it this time, I'm getting Billy Joel vibes too.
Yeah.
All right.
Again, they're from Long Island, so is he.
Yep. All right. James.
I'm going to go with my number 3 song, which I'm surprised none of us have said, and that's Small Victories, again from Go to School.
I got
it.
Hey! We were all just sitting on that one.
Yeah. I couldn't let this game go by without that one getting in. I would feel terrible.
And just like that, we're at 7. Imagine that.
I wouldn't be surprised if these guys were into Sparks.
Yeah, that was another thing I came across, was like thinking, like, while it's not necessarily sound-wise, because Sparks is all over the place.
Yeah.
But like the weirdness that is kind of living in here, it's exactly what I was thinking. Is I wouldn't be shocked if they were into Sparks.
Yeah. So not to divulge from the conversation, but how did you guys handle Sparks? Because they've got like 25 albums.
So
we did the singles.
You did this, okay?
Which is like 70 songs. So that tells you a little something. Okay.
Yeah.
We can talk about more of that in after the fact. Ladies and gentlemen, patreon.com/ohhijustin if you'd like to hear us continue talking. Okay, so I'm just going to dump out what I got left here. 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, wow. Only 4 songs left. 1, 2. Wow. Guess it works out perfectly. All right. Baby Baby.
I got it.
Oh, wow.
No.
I get the feeling that some of these that make it into the conversation at this point are going to be like, yeah, cool, but you can go somewhere. If You Give Enough.
No.
No.
All right. Alone on My Own on that one. Hell on Wheels.
I do have Hell on Wheels. Yeah, that was. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know why I was sitting on that one.
I don't know why I was either, but a unanimous in the dump out again, which takes us to 8, which means we're playing out.
These guys have some solid track ones.
Indeed.
Yeah. I mean, and we're not going to play out in that far into the song, but for some weird reason, like in the middle of the song, it's Brian. Brian does like this really weird Bob Dylan impression. Don't know why. It just comes out of nowhere.
Just for fun.
Why?
Because he can.
Why?
They strike me as that sometimes. All right. And my last one. This is off Brothers of Destruction, Light and Love.
Nah.
No.
Okay, so I just need to chuck my 2 1s in there. That was what? Light and Love and If You Give Enough. All right. If You Give Enough. 1. Light and Love. 1. All right, Peter?
So I've got High Low.
No.
The Student Becomes the Teacher.
Not on mine.
Lonely.
Nope.
And that's it for me.
All right. So just for fun, James, you want to dump out whatever you got left?
Yeah. I've got Moon off of General Public.
All right.
And then I've got The Fire, which is the tragic ending to Go to School. Just absolutely crazy. 6 minutes of Southern rock and that final sha-na-na-na-na-na, it's like it's kind of like Rocky Horror in some cases sometimes. I've got Fight. Did we say Fight?
We did not.
We didn't. Yeah, I've got Fight. I've got The Bully. Home of a Heart, and that is it.
All right. Well, we did.
Oh, and Why Do Lovers Own Each Other?
There we
go. I missed that
one. We ended up covering a good deal of their discography here, which is.
I mean, again, there's only 3 records.
Yeah. All right, so we have 8 through unanimously. Nobody gets the final say.
Wait, we have 8?
Yep. So we've got I Want to Prove to You, Never in My Arms, Always in My Heart, Rock Dreams, Small Victories, Hell on Wheels, No One Holds You Closer than the one you haven't met, The One, and Why Didn't You Say That? All right, and then in the convo, 10 needs to get whittled down to 2. So I'm going to read this list, and honestly, at this point, if each of you, we can either do cuts or each of you can pick a song. I think like at the 8 that are in unanimously, like I'm good at this point, I think. So, Those Days Is Coming Soon, Baby Baby, These Words, As Long As We're Together, A Great Snake, The Lesson, Live in Favor of Tomorrow, Somebody Loving You, Leather Together, and Beautiful. Is there anything jumping out at either of you that's like, man, that should have been in, or hell no, that needs to get out of here?
Unfortunately, there's a lot that I can't remember, because when you start cutting 2 weeks ago,
Yep.
Your brain goes, oh man, and I'm one of those things I was going to do was sit back and try and listen to the songs again and figure out why I cut them, but just wasn't able to.
Just wasn't in the cards. Well, I mean, is there something, Peter, is there something jumping out at you that is like, yeah, we should probably take that, or again, something that's like, cool, you're here, but go home?
I'm looking at Beautiful because we don't really have their acoustic side.
Okay. All right. I'm into it.
Yeah, and that was my pick, so I'm up for it.
Yeah. Let me find it on this list because it is now sorted differently. There it is. All right. That takes us to 9. So do we have all the sounds covered? Looks like
I think so.
We've got
essentially.
Yeah, we've got 3 from songs, 3 from Go to School, 1 from Do Hollywood, 2 from Brothers of Destruction. Do we snake another one from Do Hollywood to just kind of have the representation, or do we think just the one song is fine?
I mean, I'm going to go to bat for These Words.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like, again, it's my number 1 song, so it feels like the song that you say, all right, this is what these guys sound like. And again, for them to be the ages they were, to just kind of put all that together and say, this is what we want to sound like, this is what we want to do, we should go like that. And for it to be, I mean, it's a big song. I think it's got, I mean, not like big, like multiple sections, but, to add in all the elements, and then the little solo in the middle, and then to go in with the really, the real big harmonies, like right there towards the end of the song, is what really just seals it for me.
Peter, you're the odd man out. Do you have any?
I can't argue against that.
All right. So let's do that. Let's make our 10 and sort. And here are our 10. I Want to Prove to You, Never in My Arms, Always in My Heart, Rock Dreams, Small Victories, Hell on Wheels, No One Holds You Closer Than the One You Haven't Met. I don't know why I keep hesitating on that. The One, Why Didn't You Say That? Beautiful, and These Words. Now, Peter, of those 10, which one is the one you're going to hand to somebody?
The One.
Ooh. James?
It's going to be These Words.
So we are at an impasse. I had a feeling this was coming.
Well, I mean, I will go to bat for the One, because that's my number 2, and it's it's a power pop song, as I was saying. 2 minutes, 20 seconds. The general idea is you're looking for somebody, you're not going to find them, so you may as well just keep trying because it's never going to happen. But I mean, it's a great song, so I would absolutely go for that one.
I think. No, go ahead, Peter.
I think sonically, like, it's like, yes, this is who we are, but this is also a pure pop song, and like anybody can get into this. If you like, you know, sunny California AM radio type stuff. Yeah, I would choose this as number one. Not because of the name, but also just because, like, if I was going to tell you about this band, this would be the first song I would send somebody.
Something could be said about this is good enough that it could send somebody backwards in their discography too. Whereas these words is like world building, essentially. Like,
yeah, I can see that. I mean, the funny thing is, going back to when I saw them live, I don't remember any songs that they played. I just remember the look and you know, those ridiculously huge high kicks. Constant. You have no idea how many he did in one set. And, you know, they've got a good presentation about themselves. They've got a great sound. And, you know, it's probably been 5 years since I've seen them. You know, now they're probably in their early 20s. Mm-hmm. And, you know, just like everything else, they got kicked in the pants by the pandemic. So, you know, general public came out. They didn't really have a chance to show themselves. And you know, you watch the shows now and you're just like, wow. They really do, like, feel like they're the saviors of 70s rock almost. And not almost the exact same. Not, you know, Greta Van Fleet, but the other side of that.
Yeah. So it sounds like we're in agreement. Let's go with the one then. So here is our list. The one is the one. I want to prove to you, never in my arms, always in my heart, rock dreams, small victories, hell on wheels, no one holds you closer than the one you haven't met. Why didn't you say that? Beautiful. And these words rounds out our 10. Let's let the one, I can speak, I swear, get a moment in the sun. That's fun. All right, we have done it. We officially have gotten you into the Lemon Twigs. You're welcome. Also, as mentioned before, we are going to talk some more on After the Fact. You can get that by going to patreon.com/oh hi Justin. $1 a month gets you in the club, and it's really that simple. Check that out. It also gains you access to the Discord where we do this program. So if you ever wanted to come listen live, you can do that by joining the Discord. How about that? Ain't that something? Also, you can go to legionofstupid.com and, you know, eventually I'll catch this up, but you can go to legionofstupid.com. You go to the deprogram page and you can go to every episode and you can see each panel member and click on each panel member and see how many episodes they've done. So if you enjoyed this and you want to hear other episodes that Peter's been on, you just click on Peter and then you see all the episodes he's been on. Boom, just like that. If you want to listen to other episodes that James is on, you can go back 2.5 years without having to, like, click around. You just, this one, and then PJ Harvey. Boom, there it is. But, you know, also on there, if you wanted to come play, back on that deprogram page, the sign-up sheet is right there. Boom. Sign up. Tell me what band you want to talk about, and you can come talk about the band. And it might take a while, but it will happen, I promise. And it'll be shameful times, indeed. We will have fun talking about whatever band you want to. In the meantime, that wraps everything. Oh, yeah, I should say we're a podcast. Subscribe, rate, comment, all that. Yeah, I appreciate that. But the best way to help is by telling somebody to listen to Deprogrammed. So do that. Thanks. And with that, the Lemon Twigs. Let them love people. We'll see you next week. Bye.